So what's on the agenda for today?
Hey, this is serious business.
All right.
This is the megaverse we're talking about. It's a meta meme.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
Because you need to make a meta-analysis.
And how would you make a meta-analysis?
A meta-analysis is above and beyond the call of duty and booty.
There's nothing above the call of booty. Nothing.
Let me take a deep breath. Because I think you're gonna have to catch up with me here.
All right. Okay.
Because I'm gonna like circle around the stupa here, clockwise.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to like spiral down into it
Okay.
and get here now and take a deep breath. That's the rule.
Okay. All right.
It's like that. It's easy.
Okay.
It's like yes and no.
To what end?
Yes and no.
To what end?
To the center of gravity. You've got to get to the center of gravity. Where yes meets no. That's the center of gravity. And that's where enlightenment lives.
Does enlightenment live in the here and now, or in the future, or in the past?
Let's take a deep breath.
We just took a deep breath. We don't need to take another.
Let's take another one.
All right.
Because I'm going to pace this.
All right.
It's slower than you think.
No.
If you want to get across the
right.
central idea.
Okay.
The central idea happens at the center of gravity. And it's power pointed.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bullet point. A pinprick. It's precise. It's exactly as it is. As you and I are.
Do you just memorize the thesaurus, and is that how you get all this stuff?
The thug.
The thesaurus.
I am a thug theosophist. That's I provide the rationale for Attila the Hun.
You're a geriatric gangster.
Harry Carey.
Yeah, what about him?
Harry Houdini.
I know you can rhyme.
Hocus Pocus.
Okay.
Honky hegemony.
Tell me the
We're here in the Holocene at the hairpin turn, and the cryosphere is collapsing. The cryosphere. Do you know what the cryosphere is?
Please explain.
Do you know what the cryosphere is? Take a deep breath. Because this is an important concept.
Is the ice sheets and
Whoa! Good. Nice going. Well done. Woo! He listened last time around. All right. That's what white people do. They do that like.
That's great.
High five thing.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, the cryosphere is...
The cryosphere is everything that is ice.
Okay.
And it's collapsing.
Well, I don't know about you, but I often find it, annoying in the wintertime when I have to drive on ice. So if the ice is collapsing, I mean, how can that not be a good thing?
Let's take a deep breath.
Okay.
We take the deep breath and then we bring it up through the spine.
Oh no.
And then at the crown of the head, we exhale back down into the root chakra.
Yeah.
The root chakra. Because if we're going to do this, it's about the feng shui of the universe.
Okay. That's great.
It's about a harmonic convergence.
So back to the cryosphere.
The cryosphere, yes.
Explain that again.
Well, the cryosphere is everything that's ice, including the Arctic and the Antarctic, the glaciers and the ice. And some ice is like permanent, or at least as permanent gets in the Holocene, which is 10,000, 12,000 years old.
I heard that the Holocene is actually over and the next one is happening. Have you heard that?
I'm going to take a deep breath.
How many breaths are you going to take?
36 at least.
Oh.
That's the deal. That's the deal. This is all a meditation.
Okay.
If we were in a place where the 36 were, the perfect audience for this.
36 36 perfect audience.
Yes, you're getting it now. Now you're getting it. You're a little slow in the uptake. That's why we slow things down.
Yeah.
Because we need to give you time to ask the guru within.
Okay, what, you mean you or me?
Let's take another deep breath.
Okay.
Whatever I tell you to do,
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing. Because that's how it's like fair and balanced.
So if you tell me to stab myself, you'll also be stabbing yourself.
Yes, exactly.
That's great. Okay, so what are you trying to explain again about the cryosphere? Because you talk about it and then you go off to some other tangent. So can we stay on topic? So
Stay on topic.
yeah. So what's going on with the cryosphere?
I am topic challenged.
Well, we're gonna need you to increase your topicality.
My topicality.
Yes.
Never mind. I was going to make a bad joke about Tropicana, but I won't because we would edit it out anyhow.
Okay. So the cryosphere is collapsing.
The cryosphere is collapsing, and
get-
we're going into hockey stick mode. Have you
Oh,
heard
the
of the
hockey
hockey
stick.
stick?
Yeah, I've heard.
The hockey stick.
I've heard the hockey stick.
We're
is
still on the blade.
synthetically drawn, actually.
We're still on the blade of the hockey stick. When it starts hitting the handle, it's going to be like a dildo to the heart.
That's a dildo.
A
to the heart.
dildo to the heart of the Holocene.
That's tragic.
It is tragic.
So
And species will die.
species
And
die every day,
if
though.
this wasn't a funny story,
Species die every day.
we could grieve together. We could keen.
Species
Do you
die.
keen?
Species.
Do you keen?
No.
Let's take a deep breath then. The cryosphere is a serious thing for me.
Okay.
I'm grieving because the albedo, as we speak, the albedo in the Arctic and the Antarctic, it's changing.
So what happens? Okay, so like this winter in Massachusetts, there was hardly any snow or ice, and I loved it. And I, for one, want that every year. So is that kind of related to the cryosphere collapsing? Or?
It is.
Great. So more of it. That sounds great. Now,
Let's take a deep breath. Because with people like you,
mhm,
not only am I topicality challenged,
mhm.
but I'm thinking about my anger management course.
Oh, so you can't handle talking to people with different viewpoints than yourself. Is that the way of
I'm
the guru?
thinking what did they say
That's not the
in
way.
my anger management course about what happens when you're dealing with an asshole? I can't remember. It seems like the most important lessons of that course when you really need them.
But I don't like ice and snow, so I want the cryosphere to collapse.
Let's take another deep breath.
I'm gonna get hypothermia with all these deep breaths I'm taking.
Hypothermia. Be hypervigilant about your hypothermia.
Okay. What is gonna happen after the cryosphere collapses?
We'll be hyperventilating.
Why?
Because when the cryosphere collapses, it's curtains for civilization as we know it.
So will this be a tropical plant?
It'll be a tropical plant, but here's what's going to happen.
What?
You've got all these nuclear
Mm-hmm.
installations
Yeah. Yeah.
where there's going to be more drought, more flood, more tsunami,
How can you have more drought and more flood at the same time?
different places.
Ah.
Some places get droughted out,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
southwest part of this country. They get droughted out,
Yeah.
and the temperature goes up.
Okay.
And the pine beetles, you know about the pine beetles?
Yeah.
Well, the pine beetles, usually they only have one set of children per season. Well, now it's getting warmer, So now those children can have children in the same season.
Well, I mean, the sex lives of these beetles, I hardly think is germane to the conversation. I mean, I don't understand. Please explain.
Let's take a deep breath.
All right.
It all works together with the albedo.
My libido?
Your libido, my libido, the albedo.
What is the albedo?
The albedo is the reflectivity of the surface that sun, photons, photons and bosons and tachyons and anyons and pi mesons
Is that like
and solar neutrinos. They're all like bouncing off, and if they bounce off something white,
yeah?
most of the heat and the light bounce back out into space.
Is that like in my car when I have that reflective thing I put on my windshield?
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly
so we
like
can just
that.
make really big ones of those when the cryosphere collapses, and put them on our roofs, and make little hats that are reflective, and we could get like reflective shields for our dogs and cats, and for the wildlife, and for cars, so that.
Are
all
you
those
dumb?
things-
Or are you just making this up?
No, if we do
You're
all
just
this
like
stuff,
trying to get me going.
if we do all this,
It's working.
No.
It's working for
If
you.
we do all
I
this-
can't remember this anger management class. They told me to take a deep breath.
we could
I
actually.
feel better now.
The thing
I
is,
feel better now.
The thing is, Herbie, that if we did all that stuff, if we created all these like reflectivity shields that everyone could wear, you know, what other bonus that would make is that it would create jobs, and as we know, nothing spurs the economy like jobs. So what do you got to say to that?
Take a deep breath.
I don't want to take a deep breath.
You got to follow the rules.
All right.
Good. Well done. Well done. Now ask the guru within. I'm doing it too. Are you getting the feng shui? How about the kundalini? How's your chakras? You waiting for Godot?
What?
Godot. God. Oh.
No.
No.
So what if the cryosphere collapses anyway? I mean, we're gonna have to make provisions, and I think that like you criticizing the reflectivity shield like fashion, you know, that I kind of want to make everyone wear. How's that constructive if like I'm trying to come up with a solution to this, and if the cryosphere is gonna collapse anyway?
Let's take a deep breath. I'm feeling better now.
Okay, so what happens is
Feeling like
okay.
I could circle around this stupa
right.
clockwise forever and still never get through to you, and it'd be okay.
Okay,
It'd be
so-
okay for me. I do myself a 360 performance evaluation and find myself innocent.
So what happens? Okay, let's say the cryosphere collapses.
The cryosphere is collapsing.
But what happens when it collapses?
When it collapses, it gets much harder.
Okay, so
That's where we get to the handle of the hockey stick.
and then we all wear the reflectivity jackets, and we put them on our dogs and cats and cars.
They ain't gonna work.
You can put them on birds too, because birds are flying high, and then the heat won't reach Earth that much because birds are at a higher altitude, and so the reflectivity would happen quicker. So if we could create a harness for like all the pigeons, all the pelicans, all the seagulls, all the flamingos out there.
I wonder if there's an anger management hotline. I really would like. Now that's a good website. Let's do a anger management hotline. I'm feeling it. I don't know. I'm feeling it.
I have another idea.
You have another idea?
Yes.
What makes you think I want to hear it?
Okay.
Because I don't.
If we need to cool the planet, right? Okay, we want to cool the planet because the cryosphere is gone.
This is like freakonomics.
Okay.
It's like freaking
All right.
me out.
So
This like reminds me of my first acid trip.
why don't we?
In 1968.
Why don't we just like? Because there's already these places that make ice, right? So you just build more factories that make ice, and that would cool the earth because you'd replace the ice blocks every, I don't know, 100 yards or whatever. And that would create a whole new industry, which would also create jobs. And that would actually cool the planet. So, and you could dump the excess ice in the ocean, which would lower the temperature of the ocean. That, along with the reflectivity shields, would. You get the ice, you get the reflectivity shields for the pigeons. Now, I'm talking about solutions, and you're talking about walking around with a sign saying.
Could I say something about your solutions?
Yeah.
Your solutions suck.
That's not very constructive. Why don't we take a deep breath?
Good idea.
Okay, so we got the reflectivity shields for the pigeons. We have build more ice factories. Okay, and if the cryosphere is collapsing, all those ski resorts have snow machines that make snow. You just build more of those. So you got snow, you got ice, you got reflectivity harnesses for the pigeons and the flamingos and the pelicans. Okay, so you have all those people working together, and the birds working with us. We'll create a truce so the birds understand why we're putting harnesses on them, and they won't fight it. And then they'll know they'll be kind of contributing with us, and we'll have to give them more of our food because they're actually going to be, taking part in having the earth kind of rebound from the lack of cryosphere. Now, our earth is covered 3/4 with water, so can't we use some of that water to cool the earth? Let's take a deep breath. Okay, so the cryosphere is gone.
The cryosphere is going.
Let's say it's gone, because it could be gone tomorrow.
Could be.
Okay.
No, it couldn't be gone tomorrow, but it could be gone in 100 years.
That long? What are we even worried about it then? How many jobs are going to be created worrying about the cryosphere? The guru within is silent within you. Let's bring it out again. So far, the scorecard is that you haven't been coming up with any solutions for the cryosphere. The only thing you've been doing is telling me that it's collapsing.
And who gets to say who keeps score?
Well, I'm just saying, I haven't heard any solutions about the cryosphere so far. Can you give me a solution?
Solution, yeah.
Yeah, give me a solution. Now, you can't take my ideas, though. The pigeon...
Solution is go fuck yourself.
I don't know how that could cool the earth.
If this were the 36 perfect audience,
yeah,
they'd be responding very, very differently.
Are they going to be talking about solutions or just talking about problems? Take your magic notebook and give me a solution. What do you do when the cryosphere collapses? How do we survive? I get the pigeons all lined up. We got the ice factories. We got the snow machines from the ski resorts. That's 3 solutions already. And the oceans, we haven't even touched that. We could genetically engineer. Just check this out. Okay, what is there tons of in the ocean? Just answer my question. What are there tons of in the ocean?
Fish.
Okay. And what do fish do?
They swim.
What else do they do?
They piss.
That's half the answer.
They shit.
Okay, they piss and shit. Now, they do these things instinctively, and they're going to continue doing them forever, right?
No.
They're going to stop shitting?
They're going to stop living.
Okay, well, before they stop living, they're going to continue to shit, right? Okay, so we are on the cusp of a technological revolution as far as genetic engineering, gene splicing, and things like that. So, and have you heard the stories where they can make a cat glow in the dark? What are you writing down? Okay. Have you heard the studies where they can make a cat glow in the dark?
No.
Okay. They can take the genes of like a fish and a strawberry and a salmon or whatever and put them all together and then stick them in a cat. And then maybe it was the firefly gene. But then the cat has a baby and the baby cat will exude these kind of like phosphorescent kind of like fibers. So at night, like they light up. So, okay, now if they can do that, why couldn't they do something where they could gene splice, let's say something that would decrease the temperature of defecant, and excrement in the fish? So you create this fish food that all the commercial vessels and stuff are going to be like, tossing off their boats. This is after the cryosphere collapses, and this fish food is packed with gene splicing hormones or whatever. So the fish eat it, and then it changes the DNA so that when they are like pissing and shitting, for the lack of a better word, the temperature of that is like 20 degrees lower. So they'll actually be lowering the temperature on average of the ocean just by doing what they're doing anyway. And I think that would go a long way to solving the overheating of the Earth after the cryosphere collapses. Super cooled fish pee and poop. So we got super cooled fish pee and poop. We have the reflectivity harnesses for the birds, the pigeons and the flamingos and the falcons. And then we have the snow machines from the ski resorts can make snow and build more ice factories. Now, how many jobs do you think this is going to create? A lot. It's going to bring down unemployment, keep criminals off the street, and cool the entire planet. Now, I've just basically solved the cryosphere problem. What are you writing down? Can I read that?
I can read it to you.
Please, please, please.
Deep breath. 1/29th speed.
All right.
It's a guided meditation. Self-reflexivity. So this isn't going anywhere glowing. My pressure. Exude bioluminescent defecant and excrement. Gene splicing. Let go the rage. Keep up. Inner breath. Inner stand eye. Fantasy. Reichian armor.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever picked up seaweed from the ocean?
I have.
It's really cold.
It is.
And I was thinking that maybe, because you know how nickel, the metal, nickel, it stays colder, I think, or is that granite? I think granite does it too, actually. It stays colder than the air around it. If seaweed does the same thing, because it's always really cold when you pick it up, if we could actually start growing seaweed, we could weave it into clothing, and then that would actually lower our body temperature. So the people on the Earth, 7, 8, 9 billion people, would actually not contribute as much to the Earth's temperature, which would also help the cryosphere problem. So I'm just shooting out good ideas like nobody's business, and I have not heard one solution from you.
Like an asshole.
Oh, that hurts my feelings, Herbie. Now, can you possibly have a more productive way to retort to my ideas?
Let's take a deep breath. It's hard to hold. It's hard to hold because what you're talking is fantasy. It's like you can...
I'd hardly call...
Wait, let me finish. I let you finish.
All right.
You can write down if you want to write down.
All right.
It helps me.
Okay.
So, what you're talking about is total fantasy. It has no relevance to the process that is actually happening in the universe, on Gaia today.
Okay.
So, it's like apples and oranges. It's like on the down low. It's like if you want to talk about this moment in time,
Yeah.
because that's what interests me, this moment in time, and solutions. I don't think we're at a place of solutions other than to stop making it worse at this point.
You haven't even talked about how to do that.
Wait a second.
Okay. Are you taking a deep breath?
I am.
All right. Your hat's on crooked, by the way.
I do not give a good goddamn.
All right. Okay, what were you saying?
So, solutions such as the ones you're offering,
Mm-hmm. Which one specifically?
all of them,
Okay.
they suck. They have no relevance to anything that's actually doable.
Hey, it's better than nothing.
No, it isn't better than nothing. It's better than... What's better than nothing is taking a deep breath.
I don't want to take a deep breath.
Well, you don't have to take a deep breath, but you better take a deep breath if you want to have this conversation.
All right.
Because what's happening
Mm-hmm.
is that we're talking about the albedo
Okay.
of the planet.
Okay.
And if the albedo of the planet changes, all of us are in trouble big time, and what you're offering has no relevance to that.
I respectfully disagree.
Well, you can disagree all you want.
Well, if you could come up with something that would help, I'm all ears, but
Take a deep breath.
already did that.
No, that's what you have to keep doing. That's the point. The point is, this is not the kind of problem that you do something and it's solved.
There is no problem that you don't come up with a solution to solve.
No, that's not correct.
Okay, so how do you solve a problem without a solution?
There's no such thing as a solution. You live in a dynamic equilibrium, yin and yang, host and guest,
So-
in and out,
If I recall,
up and down.
this is what I mentioned earlier about, well, this live on a tropical planet. No ice, no snow. Equilibrium, symbiosis. So,
Be my guest. Live wherever you want to live.
okay. So, what are you going to do, though?
I'm going to continue to take a deep breath and talk to those people who are open to hearing about how it is.
I am open to hearing about it. God knows I've
Wait
heard-
a second.
What?
If you're open to hearing
Yes.
about it,
Yes.
the albedo, what does that mean to you?
The albedo is the reflectivity of the Earth.
Okay,
Okay.
say more.
If the cryosphere goes away, less of the heat will be reflected and the Earth's temperature will increase,
Good.
causing really awesome warm days at the beach. And you'll need an extra ice cube in your drinks.
Good.
Okay, now.
Sounds like there's no problem.
Well, it doesn't sound too bad, does it? Is it possible that the Earth will just simply, bounce back after the cryosphere collapses? Can the cryosphere kind of regenerate?
In 500,000 years.
Well, we've had ice ages about once every 25,000 years, so why would it take 500,000 years for the Earth to bounce back from a cryosphere deficit if ice ages happen every 25,000 years anyway,
Because once you trip off certain tipping points,
Mm-hmm.
like in ocean acidity,
Mm-hmm.
like in albedo, like in the balance between water vapor and air,
Okay.
those balances take a long time to restore. And there hasn't until now been a species that could pump carbon dioxide and methane and change permafrost, change peat, change places that are carbon sinks into carbon fountains.
What's a carbon sink?
Carbon sink is like if you, as happened in the Arctic, for example, or in Siberia, if you have a changing climate, and climate has changed, it changes. So when vegetation has died, some of it died, and then before it actually was digested and completely digested, it was frozen.
Okay.
So the breakdown of carbon dioxide, amongst other things, is interrupted. And if the ice in the permafrost, in the tundra, in the peat bogs, in the 3% of the world that carries those are sinks where plants have died and haven't totally gone through the cycle.
Okay.
Because the things that digest them and the enzymes that they need have been frozen in place. They can only work at certain temperatures.
Okay.
And those temperatures are now starting to come into play again. So that some of in Siberia, for example, some of the vegetation, the dead and dying vegetation is now composting.
That's a good thing, right?
Well, it's not good if too much happens, and too much is happening. It's starting to
Isn't
happen.
composting like something we should all do to decrease the...
It's all about balance. And if you overdo it, as you know with coffee, for example.
Yeah.
If you overdo your coffee,
Okay.
bad things happen.
But I thought we were all supposed to compost.
Let's take a deep breath.
Okay, so is composting good or bad? Good? Bad? Alright. Bad?
Too much or too little?
Okay, so who's to say if it's too much or too little? You or I cannot say it's too much or too little. Earth says that. Earth.
Scientists can track that and monitor that, and they are. And too much means there's more carbon dioxide going with the carbon dioxide we're already emitting and raising the temperature of the planet precipitously on a geological time scale.
Well, so how do we lower the temperature of the atmosphere?
There is no way for us to do that in any significant way that we now know.
You are a defeatist guru. What kind of enlightenment can you have without like some hope for the future? So, for basically the way you're talking, there's nothing we can do.
There's plenty we can do.
What?
Take a deep breath.
Okay.
And we can tell the truth, the breathtaking truth.
And then what?
Best friends forever. And then we can elect a precedent.
Who could we elect as precedent?
Herbie. We could elect Herbie for precedent.
But then what will Herbie do for the cryosphere?
He will stop building Keystone XL pipeline. He will stop the fucking fracking.
The Keystone Pipeline is a way to decrease our dependence on foreign oil, I thought. Well, it's true. I mean, it's coming from Canada. It's a friendly neighbor rather than getting it from the Middle East. Isn't that a good thing? I'm getting a vibe of hostility.
You're getting good. You're very good at picking up the feng shui of the circulation of the situation.
So what's wrong with? Okay, so see, you're against Keystone, but I don't understand why though, because we already have pipes going everywhere with oil and gas, and what's so bad about Keystone?
So the balance thing. There's too much. We've gotten to the too much place.
Too much what?
Too much.
Too much of anything?
Too much of everything, pretty much.
Okay, so we shut down, we don't open Keystone.
Well, in my herbal administration, we're going to have a 2-year moratorium on stuff.
Just stuff?
Stuff, all kinds of stuff. And there'll be a special team, a panel that will be licensed to license. If you want to produce anything, you'll have to get a license.
Doesn't more government regulation hinder innovation and creativity? Deep breath. Okay. So, you're gonna, as precedent, get rid of Keystone. What else?
We're going to take those B-2 bombers
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to stop building them, and then we'll have all this money.
Well, actually, the money is kind of just printed. You know, the Fed prints it based on they buy debt or something like that. So, like, if we stopped building them, we wouldn't have any extra money. We just wouldn't be spending. We just wouldn't be increasing our debt. What do you have against the B-2 bomber anyway? Apparently you have something against it. Okay. All right, so get rid of the B-2 bomber. Get rid of Keystone. What else?
We're going to shut down all the nuclear power stations and mothball them.
Okay. Where are we going to get our energy?
We're going to use less energy.
That's not what I asked. Where are we going to get our energy? Stay on topic, Guru.
Let's take a deep breath.
Okay. So where are we going to get?
We'll have energy.
Yeah. How?
How does it get used?
Where is it coming from?
Carbon tax.
Oh, another tax.
Yes.
What a great idea.
Right.
Because I don't know about you, but I love paying taxes. So, okay, now, all right, so I'm not really sure what a carbon tax is, but I don't really want to pay it. So,
But you'll get a refund.
I'll get a refund?
Yes, the 99% will be treated like banksters. If you fuck up, we'll throw money at it. You'll be treated like the 1%. You can be like Jamie Dimon.
Well, how will the 1% be treated then?
They'll be treated good. They'll be treated like the 99%.
No, that sounds like a little bit of, I don't know, cynicism in that statement. You know, the 1% pays most of the taxes in this country.
They'll be treated like the 99%. What's the problem?
Well, I just sense some animosity.
Keep your sensing to yourself.
If I'm trying to be one with this conversation, how can I do that and keep things to myself at the same time?
Take a deep breath.
Okay.
It's happening.
What's happening?
It's happening.
Oh my God. What is happening?
Enlightenment is
I don't
happening.
feel very enlightened right now.
That's good. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Except you are.
All I know so far is you don't like the reflectivity shields for the pigeons, and you don't like the snow machines and the super cooled.
Let's take a
fish
little
pee.
break. I need to make some more coffee.
Okay. All right.
And slow down.
All right.
Let's take a break.
So, funny story. I went to the bank today,
Mm-hmm.
and I made a deposit,
Mm-hmm.
and the teller,
Mm-hmm.
when she gave me the receipt,
Mm-hmm.
she was like, you know, have a nice day and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like her eyes,
Mm-hmm.
when she looked at me,
Mm-hmm.
her eyes were saying like, don't ever come here again. I couldn't figure that one out, so I just walked out. What do you think about that?
I think you should take a deep breath.
She didn't take a deep breath.
But you, here, now.
Oh, not here. Okay.
Mm. Did you get your receipt?
Well, I did, but you know, I was just taken aback by
Then
the
you're
whole.
cool.
Yeah, but like
Then you're okay.
her eyes were like, you know, get out of here, get lost.
Were they bedroom eyes?
No, they were like, you know, she wanted to like throw me into a meat grinder.
I know people like that.
Yeah. And you wonder why they're in customer service.
You never know.
Yeah. So, I wanted to ask you about the nation's financial system.
It's great.
It's great.
It's great.
Next
it's just
topic.
what we want.
Next topic.
Yeah. Easy.
What do you think about the Occupy movement causing in part the Bank of America to like...
Bank of America.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Too crooked to fail.
Yes, and apparently they were...
Robo-signing. Do you remember robo-signing?
Is that like a robot?
Bank of America was majorly involved in robo-signing.
What is robo-signing?
Means that they faked documentation that they didn't have. And then they got someone to approve that documentation in order, A, to make the loan, and then B, to foreclose on the loan to buy property.
I'm having trouble being happy or upset, so kind of can you lead me further into this?
Well, Bank of America
Mm-hmm.
bought Countrywide.
Cool.
Countrywide
Yep.
had lots of subprime mortgages. And Countrywide had committed control fraud, which meant that you could go there, not have a job, and say you wanted to buy a $700,000 house, and they'd give you a loan.
That's good, right? Ownership society.
It's good if the value of the property goes up.
Yeah, but you're not buying a home for an investment. You're buying it for a place to live.
But you have to pay. You have to be able to pay the mortgage.
Okay, so
So they were selling mortgages to people who couldn't afford to pay the mortgage.
why would someone take a mortgage they couldn't afford?
Because for a long time, the value of the property would go up enough, and then you could refinance.
I see.
And that went on for years.
So Bank of America was trying to like increase the ownership society, get everyone into a home, and they were doing it so overzealously. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. So then what happened?
So then, all those mortgages failed. And those mortgages were not risk assessed by the bank to fail. Now, some of them
Yeah.
they had securitized and made into investments. They knew the investments weren't any good. They got pension funds and
How could any of this be legal?
good question. Good question.
So if I bought a house with a subprime mortgage, what would have happened to me?
Well, probably what would have happened is you wouldn't have been able to afford to pay the mortgage.
And then what would happen to me?
Then eventually you'd get foreclosed upon.
At that point, what would happen to me?
You'd get thrown out of the house.
What would happen to me after that?
Depends on you.
Where would I go?
I don't know.
Could I go to a bank and sign another mortgage
No.
for another house?
No. It's
Why
not
not?
like that anymore. Now it's really hard to get a mortgage because that's what happens. That's what they say the market.
What if I got some roommates to sign with me?
No. I mean, unless one of them had $1 million.
How can we solve this?
Take a deep breath. That would probably help out.
All right. I happen to have some ideas.
Your ideas suck.
Would you like to hear them?
No.
Okay. That kind of hurt my feelings.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
That surprises me.
You still sore about the cryosphere thing?
I've let it go.
That's good. That's the whole Buddhist let things go, you know.
Above and beyond the call of duty and booty. Is that
Yeah.
Buddhist? Is that the Buddhist you were talking about?
Yeah, I think so. So, I get thrown out of my house. I can't get back into another one. So I get an apartment.
You got the money.
Well, I have a great job. Well, I mean, not me. I don't have any job, actually. I'm unemployed. But the hypothetical me would have a good job.
A hypothetical you.
Yeah.
Well, you should live in the hypothetical you. It's probably easier.
Can I sign a hypothetical subprime mortgage?
That's
loan?
what happened. A lot of people signed hypothetical subprime mortgages.
So, if this is true, that means millions of people got like kicked out of their houses.
Yes.
Where'd they go?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Who's keeping track of these people then?
Nobody.
That seems strange.
Well, homeless shelters are getting more clients. That's one place.
Okay. Well, that's but they don't pay to be in the homeless shelters, so.
Mm-hmm. True.
I wonder what it's like to live in a homeless shelter. Do they let you like watch television?
I don't know. I've never lived in one. But I imagine they have a television. That's my guess.
Do you think they have cable?
Basic.
No.
Basic cable.
Like all that community television, home shopping stuff.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, I used to live in Seattle, and they have excellent accommodations for the homeless.
Great. You've got a place to go then.
I think after my subprime mortgage collapses, that's where I'll go.
Great. Great.
But what about the millions of people that lost their home? What is their remedy?
I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Different kind of society, maybe. Maybe we need someone like Herbie.
What would Herbie do to Bank of America? Wait, let's say Herbie was in a wrestling ring with Mr. Bank of America.
No, we're not going to do that.
We're not going to do that.
No.
Let's say Herbie.
What he would do would be to prosecute the CEO and the C-suites. And
What's a C-suite?
C-suite is where the CEO and the CFO
Mm-hmm.
and the COO, where they all live.
They all live together in the same place?
They're
like roommates?
They all hang out and they make criminal conspiracies at the C-suites.
Do they have cable at the C-suites?
Probably. No, probably they not only have cable, but they have like the mega package.
Yeah, they're not going to just have basic
They
cable.
have like lots of channels.
All right,
in
so
the
you got
C-suites.
all these guys living together, and they run a bank, and they're getting all this money from the subprime mortgages, and they're having a good time. They got the
Call it Bank of America.
They get premium cable. So,
Call it Bank of America.
So what happens to them?
They get bailed out.
That's a good thing, right?
It's a good thing for them.
Well, shouldn't everyone get a bailout?
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten a bailout?
Have I? Yes, absolutely. My mother's bailed me out many times.
Well, that's good.
Yes, my mother's very nice.
Would she?
I'm glad I got to say that.
Would she have bailed Bank of America out if they called her and said, "Hey, Mom, I need some money"?
I think it's a different level.
Different level.
I think it's apples and oranges.
Oh, no, apples and oranges again. All right, so back to Herbie. So what would Herbie do? They would prosecute, or Herbie would
Well,
prosecute.
they could all wear ankle bracelets so we know where they were.
The ankle
And
bracelet
any
thing
time
has-
any more than two of them got together, we could then invoke the warrantless wiretapping rules and hear their whole conversations.
ankle bracelets.
Off the ankle bracelet. The ankle bracelet would have a recorder too.
Yeah, but then you can't wear socks with the ankle bracelet.
Well, that's one of the things that...
'Cause it won't look good.
It's a downside. It's a downside to being a criminal.
Why can't they just wear bracelets like on their arms?
They could.
Okay, so the bracelets are going to track them.
Bracelets are going to track them and warrantlessly wiretap them and torture them
We don't-
at the same
we
time.
don't-
We will enhancedly interrogate them
We-
off the bracelet. It'll just automatically get tighter.
I definitely don't want to go to the jewelry store that sells those bracelets.
Well,
So, but we don't do all that stuff in this country, do we?
yes, we do. We do.
Do what?
Enhance the interrogation, as they say.
What would you do to enhance the Bank of America's experience at the hands of Herbie Pearlman?
Well, I think the C-suites could have a little enhanced interrogation.
We could drop them down to basic cable.
We could. We could. We could take a deep breath.
Okay.
Ask the guru within.
The guru within has nothing to say.
Sorry to hear that.
All right, so Bank of America, are they the only main character in this?
The
one?
Bank of America is that they're like the iconic figure.
But they tried to
They're too big to fail.
But they tried to remedy this by increasing their cash flow. They were asking for $5 for each month someone used their debit cards.
Exactly.
And people-
And that was because they had a consent decree with the Treasury Department for having committed felonies.
Where do you find all this information out?
It's in Matt Taibbi's article, Too Crooked to Fail, March 29th, Rolling Stone.
All right.
That's where to find it. That's where I read it.
Okay, that's cool. Rolling Stone's not as cool as it used to be, though. It's more corporate now. Is that the only article that talks about this, or?
Mm-hmm.
It's really weird that the only people that would be covering it would be Rolling Stone.
Oh no, other people covered it.
Oh, that's what I mean. Okay. All right. So, what can be done now, though? Solutions.
Well, we could put all the C-suites in prison.
Deprive them of their liberty over a money issue.
Felons.
I don't think that's right.
Over a felony.
Yeah, but it's a money felony, though. They didn't actually hurt anyone.
Yeah, they hurt a lot of people.
Well, not physically.
All those homeless people who now don't have mortgages, those people you were talking about before, they hurt those people.
Well, I know, but it's like a money thing. So why can't we just take away their money? Why do we got to put them in jail?
Good. Okay, I'll go for that. Done.
Take away all their money, but don't put them in jail.
Great. I'll go for that.
Really?
I'll go with that. Yeah. Oh,
Because I would be a big fan of that. Because I don't think anyone that
good.
commits a non-violent act should go to jail.
Good.
I don't sense any sincerity in that good.
Take a deep breath then. Probably a good thing.
Okay, so if we took away their money, would you want to put them in jail anyway?
No. Re-education camp.
Ooh, that can be a slippery slope.
It is a slippery slope, but it's a pretty morally hazardous world we live in.
Well, I mean, granted, you have some guys that run a bank, they made a few mistakes, and I think, vilifying them is not going to solve anything. Don't you agree?
I'm okay with taking their money.
All right. No,
taking their money, and then they can get a job, a real job.
but they already, I don't understand, they already have jobs working for the bank.
No, well, the banks will go bankrupt if we actually tote them up and don't bail them out. So
Well,
then
then-
they won't have a job.
Where am I going to put my deposits then?
Well, the government will guarantee it directly.
Yeah, but that money comes from my taxes.
It's going to come from your taxes anyhow.
Oh,
Now it goes to the banks.
I don't see how anyone, even Herbie, could solve this.
Take a deep breath.
All right, so Herbie's going to solve the Bank of America fiasco.
Bank of America fiasco, here we come.
After that's done, what's next?
Take a deep breath.
We just did that.
It comes around again.
Okay. So we've solved the cryosphere, we've solved Bank of America.
We haven't solved anything.
Well, I don't know about you, but I mean, I've definitely come up with several pretty ingenious solutions.
Great.
Okay.
Gesundheit, as we say.
What is that?
Gesundheit.
Gazoon to hate?
Yeah.
Isn't it gazoon tight?
No. Gesundheit.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so Herbie solves Bank of America. Can we move on to maybe another topic? So, like, what's the next thing that Herbie would do?
We're not going to the next thing because the whole banking system needs to be rejiggered.
How?
Well, first of all, less leverage, less derivatives.
What's a derivative?
Remember those subprime mortgages?
Yep.
Well, they all got put together,
Mm-hmm.
and then they got
To make a super
divided into tranches, securitized. And then people bought those securities in a leveraged way. So they paid small amount of money to control a big amount of money, so that if things changed,
Yeah.
like a lot of people couldn't pay their mortgages,
Yeah.
you could lose big time, fast. And that's what happened.
That sucks.
It did.
So if they took all the subprime mortgages and they made them into like one super ball of subprime mortgages, and then they sliced them up like bread, right? They
Mhm.
passed them out as derivatives.
They sold them.
Sold them as derivatives. So what's wrong with that?
Well, they sold them. They actually sold the opportunities. And in order to buy those opportunities, you paid a small fraction of what the thing was worth and guaranteed that you would cover the whole thing. But when they started going bad,
Yeah.
all these mortgages, those people who guaranteed it,
Mhm.
like AIG,
Mm-hmm.
like Goldman Sachs,
Yep.
they couldn't pay. They didn't want to pay. They wanted to get bailed out with your tax money.
Everyone deserves a bailout, though, right?
With your tax money?
Well, surely there can be some other place that the money can come from besides my taxes.
But it didn't. It came from your tax money.
Well, that's not very
And
good.
that's why we can't do a whole bunch of other things.
Like what?
Like all those people who were in the homeless shelter because they were foreclosed on.
Yeah.
Feed them. We could feed them.
What are they doing now?
Good question.
Maybe we could put ankle bracelets on them so we could track them.
All the ankle bracelets are going to be used for the CEOs and the C-suites.
The C-suite sound like a cool place to live.
Well, you can live there when things change. That'll be
I want to
the
live in
first
the
thing.
C-suites. It's like the C-suites,
Cool.
and you got the pool and the ice machine on the
The
first
pool
floor.
and the amenities. You get the amenities and the annuities. It's good. It's good being the 1%. You could be the 1%. Everybody's good. In my herbal administration, everybody's going to be treated like the 1%.
Well, who's gonna take out the garbage and like cut the sheet metal and like take out the trash and pump the gas?
the previously 1%ers.
That's going to keep them quite busy.
If they were busy, we would all be better off.
Would they be earning a living wage?
Absolutely. Absolutely, they'd be learning a living wage.
So they'd have an ankle bracelet, a living wage, and they'd be pumping my gas.
Cleaning your floors.
Those guys in the suits that are in front of Congress.
Kicking your ass.
Well, no, they shouldn't do that.
They shouldn't, but sometimes they get mad. There'd be a whole new market for anger management classes.
Yeah, there you go with the anger management again. I thought a guru master like yourself had decades ago, solved the whole.
Let's take a deep
thing.
breath.
All right.
You keep circling around the stupa.
You told me to circle.
Clockwise.
So I don't understand.
Enlightenment is like a touch and go kind of here and there. Now you got it and now you don't kind of thing.
You're making enlightenment sound like it's a little too much work to even get to.
It's tough. It is. You're right. It's a lot of work.
So please explain more.
But what?
What we were just talking about.
What were we just talking about?
We were talking about all the people that lost their mortgages. You said you couldn't track them, right?
I did.
If we ankle braceleted all the people that lost their mortgages, so when they're scrambling around, we need to find them, and then we can get them their houses back. We could just activate their bracelet, like when you go to.
Let's take a deep breath.
No, listen. When you go to the restaurant and you're go to TGI Fridays or something, and your table's ready, the little thing starts lighting up, the little pager. So their bracelet would light up, and they know they could get their house back. Could Herbie get their house back? I'm sensing hostility again.
It's happening.
The hostility's happening?
Hostility is happening.
I thought the homicide was happening.
The homicide is happening too. They're concurrent phenomena.
Ooh, big college word. Concurrent.
And there's some epiphenomena that go along with it, but we won't get into that.
All right. So.
And there's some epipheromones too.
Okay, that sounds great. So we've solved the Bank of America issue. Beyond that, what would be the next big topic that you would tackle?
Let's take a deep breath. Feeling.
What?
Feeling.
Can we do one of those Om things?
Yes.
Ready? Oh, my teeth were vibrating. All right. Let's have this next topic be something that you could come up with on your own. So, what would you like to talk about now?
Feelings.
Let's talk about feelings. You first.
We're going to create, in my herbal administration, we'll create alchemistry schools.
We're going to create chemistry schools.
Alchemistry.
And how will that solve anything?
We'll change all the lead that's around.
Will this create
gold?
Will this create jobs?
It will. It will. There'll be retort makers and alembic makers.
What's a retort?
A retort and the alembic, that's what the alchemist uses to convert lead to gold. And then we can go back on the gold standard so that then the banks will be able to pay off the mortgages, but the banks will be gone. We'll need a new system.
Yeah, because where am I going to put all my money? Where are you going to put all your money?
We'll work on it. We'll work on it.
What's to say?
Credit unions. We're going to have credit unions.
What's to say that, maybe there's some C-suites in the credit unions that are going to...
There will be. Yes, they'll have to be monitored. and regulate it.
With like a bracelet?
Maybe.
I think we should all have
A
bracelets.
warrantless wiretapping bracelet. It records too.
Really?
Yeah. And then it ships your data off to Bluffdale, Utah.
Well,
And then it gets parsed to see if you're a terrorist.
can I have a bracelet?
You can have as many as you like.
Are you gonna have one too?
I don't know. Haven't thought about it.
Hey, can we have one of those bracelets where like you have one half and I have the other, and like we put them together?
No.
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 No. All right, just checking. So feelings.
Feelings.
Okay.
Yes.
Aren't you gonna hurt the feelings of the C-suites when you take them away from their jobs?
Probably.
But you don't care.
No, I don't really give a shit.
That's pretty stiff.
The 1% are the 1%.
But
And the 99% are the 99%.
the 1% could be your neighbor. It could be the guy that you see in the grocery store.
Fuck them.
Okay. But I mean, they're just like you and me, aren't they?
No.
They're not? How are they different?
Well, they don't need to get a job. They're not gainfully employed.
I'm not gainfully employed. Am I the 1%?
That's the difference between you and the 1%. They're not employed and they don't need to look for a job. And they don't need to get unemployment either.
Oh.
Because they have enough in the Cayman Islands.
Really?
Yeah. You can put your money in the Cayman Islands and you and mid the shit will be able to
There's no
hobnob at the bank.
Me and Mitt?
At the bank.
That's kind of cool.
In the Cayman Islands.
I want to put my money in the same place that Mitt puts his.
Yeah. It'd be good for you.
But I don't really have any money though.
Maybe you could ask Mitt for some.
Well, he's not going to just give me his money. I mean, he worked hard for that money.
He might. He
No,
wants
I
to
see
be
what
president. He might. If you could sell him your vote.
Can you give me some money?
No.
Okay.
Thanks for asking, though.
All right.
It's an opportunity to do good. It makes me feel good.
I have found
I feel good. Now we're talking about feelings. I feel good.
that I've asked you for money.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not good enough to actually give any though.
No, absolutely not. Actually, the feel good part is saying no. Just say no. That's what they said, and they were right.
That sounds very 1%.
They were right.
That sounds very 1% of you.
I'm a 1% sort of guy. Only the new 1%. The new 1% is going to be different from the old 1%.
That sounds really generic. It sounds like you just made that up.
I did.
Let's talk about something
But
more
it's true.
interesting.
But it's true. No.
We're gonna.
Yes.
Yes.
But what's required? What's required to save the planet?
Yes.
To save Gaia?
Yes.
What's required is enlightenment.
Okay.
Is having each other's backs.
If everyone is enlightened.
No, it's having each other's backs. So it's giving each other the benefit of the doubt. It's meaning well.
I mean well.
Good. Maybe you're one of the new 1%.
Do you mean well?
I do.
So we're part of the 1%.
We are.
But we're not rich. We're the new 1%.
The new 1%.
So the new 1% is poor.
Maybe. You don't have to be poor. It's not a requirement.
Okay. That's great.
Good. I'm feeling good.
Okay.
Om.
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 To my omies.
Om with my omies.
Yeah. I had a thought, but I lost it. Do you have anything?
It's 9:10, geologically speaking.
What's 9/10?
9:10 is the day before 9/11.
Oh.
Geologically
made that up.
speaking, we're on the blade of the hockey stick, and when it starts going up into the handle,
Mm-hmm.
we're fucked.
What can we do once it starts going in the handle?
I don't know.
Bend over and kiss our collective asses goodbye?
Could be. Could be.
I get the sense you don't want to come up with a solution.
We're talking about feelings here.
No, we're done talking about feelings. We're talking
No
about
feelings.
All right.
Feeling better.
I feel as if you don't want to talk about a solution.
I feel as if I feel.
That's a cop out.
Phew. That's a mouthful.
So I feel right now as if we should talk about the fact that they have detected radiation in like California from a little power plant that we both know about. What do you think about that?
It's happening. Fukushima. Drink your Fukushima Kool-Aid.
Great.
It's heavy water.
It's heavy stuff.
Heavy stuff. Yeah. Heavy lifting.
What can we do with all this radioactive
Heavy
water?
lifting. Drink it. We are drinking it. We're drinking it up. That's what the Kool-Aid's about. And you can snort your strontium too.
That's true. We could do all that. But that wouldn't solve anything. Again, see, I'm about solutions.
And here's the other thing, is that there's a prediction afoot that there's going to be another earthquake in the Fukushima Daiichi region.
When?
Of magnitude 7. There's, according to the seismologists, there's a 70% chance that it'll happen within the next year. And a 98% chance that it'll happen within the next 3 years. That's what I heard.
Well, it's a
Some radio eco shock.
A 7.0 is not going to do too much, will it?
Oh, yes, it will. 7.0 is gonna melt the containment pools. There'll be some radioactivity to spare going on there.
So everyone can have a little radiation then?
Everyone is going to get a little radiation. Everybody's going to get a little hit. Even the 1%.
Even the 1%?
The 1% especially, I hope.
Are the 1% going to be in the homeless shelters?
The 1% are going to be taking a deep breath so they get their daily requirement of strontium.
Okay. That's great.
Problem solved. See?
You are a problem solver.
I am.
But you're still not keen on my reflectivity shields for the birds, are you?
I think it's kind of bullshit.
Kind of bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, you can make them fashionable too.
I think you're just shooting the shit.
I don't think I am. I think, people could describe the things I say many different ways.
I ascribe it to shooting the shit.
But aren't we shooting the shit now?
You got a point. Let's take a deep breath.
If Herbie Pearlman only had, like, one issue that he could take to the people, what would it be?
Take a deep breath.
No, that's not an issue.
That's an issue. I make it into an issue. Right here, right now. Take a deep breath. See, it's an issue.
Do you have any more solutions?
I do.
Let's hear them.
Slow down to half speed.
Half speed. Okay, I've done that. Now what?
I don't sense that you've done it.
So you think I'm not at half speed right now?
Yes.
How can you tell if I'm at half speed?
By the cadence
So, if I talk
Good.
like this,
Good.
I'm at half speed.
Yes.
That's great. So, did you know that now that I'm talking in half speed, can we talk about
No,
these
now
things?
you're not talking in half speed anymore. Nor am I.
For a guru, you are trying my patience.
Ask the guru within.
I don't want to ask you. I don't want to ask the guru within. I can ask the guru within whenever.
You might not like the answers you're getting.
I want to ask this guru.
Go for it.
What should I do?
Take a deep breath.
But I've already taken a deep breath, Master.
Take another one.
Should I just hold my breath?
As long as you can. And then don't anymore. Excellent. Om. Om.
There's a lot of pollution in the air, so I couldn't really hold my breath too much.
Strontium too.
What is strontium?
Strontium is like cesium or iodine. It's an element.
So, is it radioactive?
In this case it is.
Where is the strontium coming from?
It's coming from the breakdown of the fuel rods at Fukushima and from some other stuff.
The major news media said there's not really much radiation getting out. How do you feel about that?
Not good.
Do you not trust the major media outlets?
True.
Can you name some media outlets that you do trust?
Democracy Now!
Democracy Now! What else?
Truth and Justice Radio.
Is there anyone else on the radio that is on maybe on Wednesdays that you know,
Bill Moyers is good.
maybe on early morning that you trust? I heard about this guy Herbie Pearlman.
Herbie Pearlman, yes!
He has
The
a show,
News at Dawn.
The News at Dawn.
On Wednesday morning. He starts at 6 a.m., but I've noticed that there's often a prequel.
6 a.m. Eastern?
Eastern.
What do you mean prequel?
And streaming live on the web.
That's right.
And archived for 2 weeks.
And I heard there's this website you can go to.
HerbiePearlman.com.
You can get all your Herbie
But
fixes.
of course, if you're seeing this, you're already on it. So it's probably not that useful to you unless you send it on to your beshert.
The what?
Your beshert.
What's the beshert?
Your beloved.
I may, I don't know where I'm going.
You could probably take a deep breath then. That'd probably help you out.
So, what lesson can I take from all this?
You could slow down. You could take
I
that
already
breath.
feel like I'm already slowing down.
More. More and more. Until you are right here, right now. Slow down that much. I dare you.
If I slow down anymore, I'll fall asleep.
Good. Have a little nap.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
Good.
Can I
Go
use
for it.
Can I use your couch?
Yeah, you can.
Cool.
Glad to be of service.
Because you're service-minded.
Service-minded. If you're going to be one of the perfect audience, you can sleep on the couch
That's great.
and take a deep breath.
Let's take a deep breath. Let's do it all.
Oh.